the information, it's the signaling that changes. And what you see here in the programming of the baby skin and then the adult skin is that the signal molecules reduce. After we've grown, by the age of 21, we're going to be as tall as we're going to be. We're going to be, as mature as we're going to be with all our organs. And the sad news is this is when aging starts. Our hormones start to decline, our enzymes, all the different neurotransmitters, all the different biochemicals that the body uses. But we also learned that our signal proteins, the proteins that talk to the stem cells, they're also decline. So the difference between the blueprint of the baby skin and the blueprint of the adult skin is the signal communication has been reduced with age and stress and time. So we said if we could find something in nature that could reintroduce those signals, then we knew we had something very special. And to give you the difference of what that means is that the baby skin can renew itself every 2 weeks. Someone in their 60s and 70s, the skin renews every 12 to 14 weeks, even though the same information is there in the cell. So when you reintroduce the signal proteins, then you find that renewal cycle regenerates again. The skin starts to renew as if it were a teenager. The skin starts to repair and regenerate. So we knew we were onto something very special. And this is when we started to introduce renewal science, because we've all heard about the different bodies of different systems in the body. Your cardiovascular system, your central nervous system, your pulmonary system with the lungs, the kidney bladder system. But how many of you ever heard of the renewal system? That's the new one. The renewal system regulates all the other systems. This is how we heal and repair. This is how we regenerate and renew. So we realized that the key to the renewal system are these signal proteins. And because the blueprint is designed to regenerate and repair and live as long as 120, 130, 140 years old, it's unfortunate because most cultures were only living to be in the late 70s and 80s. So how many would you like the opportunity to live a healthy, strong life and to be well past 100, 120? Isn't that sound exciting?
Grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren.
So this has been really our challenge. Our challenge is to reach out to the world, reach out to not just the public, but also the scientific community, and train them in a whole new approach and new way to looking at the body.
Maybe I should stay on that side. Yeah. You gonna be able to see this okay? Are we in your way?
No.
Okay? I don't know why. This isn't very loud, is it? Let's go. You okay?
That's all right.
All right, so what we've been focused on, both in our practice and most of the world, has been focused on what we call replenishment science. Replenishment science says this: whatever's missing in the body, let's replenish it, right? And we know that we're deficient. We've all heard this now in our food sources. We're losing all those good minerals. We're losing all those good vitamins because our soils are being depleted. We have more toxins, more stress that we're dealing with. So have any of you tried a supplement and then you gave it to somebody else and they didn't have any results, but you had great results? Have you had that happen? Do you want to know why that happens? Because you were probably deficient in it and they weren't in that nutrient. Okay? So, does anybody know what the most important nutrient is that you need to have? Take a guess. Come on, Irish. Megan, what do we know?
Selenium.
Selenium, good one. Zinc? Some of the other ones?
Vitamins. Vitamins.
D, right? All of them really, really critical, aren't they? But the one that's most important is the one that you are missing. Right? Does that make sense? Exactly.
Good one.
So when Chris was talking about at the age of 21, we have very special proteins, signal molecule proteins, that diminish incredibly by the age of 21. All of us, after the age of 21, are deficient in them. So when we introduce those back into the body, we now reintroduce these signal proteins, and that's part of what we call the renewal system. And that renewal system, again, integrates with all of the other different systems that Chris was talking about. There's a whole journey that we each individually uniquely get to where we're at with our health blueprint. So everyone's going to have a very unique experience when they take StemRenu. So with StemRenu, what we've done is we've combined replenishment and activated the renewal system in the body, and that's why we're seeing so many great results.
Just to give you a little bit of a glimpse, this is an animation or a picture of a cross-section of the cell. This is the surface of the cell, and on that surface are hundreds of thousands of receptor sites. And actually the brain of the cell is on the surface. It's not what most of us were taught, it's in the nucleus, in the center. No, it's on the surface, because on the surface is where all the communication happens. Through the bloodstream, these signal proteins flow and attach to the various receptor sites. So here's a hormone, an enzyme, a neurotransmitter, and then here's a signal protein that directs the cell on how it's going to do its functions. And this is the critical information that we learned in stem cell research, where that signal molecule attaches to the receptor sites and then activates a whole other set of signals that tell you to make another cell, to activate a gene function, to make an enzyme, make a hormone. So all of the information that's in the blueprint is activated by the signaling that happens on the surface. This is why our environment is so important. This is how just like we surround ourselves with good people, then these are the people that we're going to gravitate with and grow with. Just because we surround ourselves with good air, good food, and good water, this is the environment that we're creating for the signaling to happen.
So we have 70 trillion cells in our body. 70 trillion cells with hundreds and hundreds of receptor sites on each cell. And so we're going to talk a little bit about, as Chris was mentioning, Sonia was trying to say a science earlier called epigenetics. Epigenetics is the science of your environment expressing through your genes. And what that means is that our environment affects everything that goes on in our body. So what we think, how we feel, really determines the expression of our DNA. And so these receptor sites, we'll talk a little bit about that in some of the next slides about why they're so important to be healthy.
So the fascination in medical science is the stem cell now. It has all the attention because it does so many incredible things. It's a primitive cell, but with the right instructions, again, the signaling tells it to become any type of other tissue in the body. It can become a heart cell, it can become a nerve cell, a kidney cell, muscle, bone, fat, cartilage. And the beauty of this cell is that not only does it recreate another part of the body, but it regenerates itself and goes back into a pool, a bank. So think of you all have a bank account of stem cells. And as we age, that bank account starts to dwindle. But when you introduce something like StemRenu, you activate this stem cell and you replenish the bank account as well as regenerate and make new healthy, strong tissue. So this is a system that is really what we refer to. When we talk about the renewal science, the renewal system, this is the stem cell system. And StemRenu was designed to facilitate every aspect of the stem cell system. So a stem cell has the ability to activate immunity. So Stem cells are being injected now into individuals to reduce inflammation and pain, whether it's a knee or a shoulder. Stem cells are introduced as an anti-inflammatory, but also to trigger